I gave her. You see?
Way too. Sony. I don't even really know where to begin with these suckers, bro. Sony been tripping for the past like 2 years, honestly. Probably over 3 years, if I'm being real. But which angle should I go first in this video? Because I got really 2 things I want to talk about in this junk. But I guess let's begin with PSN is. It should be back up now. PSN had another outage these past a little over 24 hours, and suckers was going crazy about it. Like, I can't get on PSN. Why is the PlayStation Network down? Like, the junk started to have a little bit of old school vibes, like going back to them 2011 days. I don't know, you suckers was made it through them days. These are little kids today. You think this was bad? Y'all suckers ain't lived through the trenches of PSN to where the jump was down for over a month, and suckers didn't even like give us like any. It was just like, why is PSN down for this day? Why is PSN down this day? Why is PSN down this day? Why is PSN down? And that junk stretched for over a month. This was cute, but it wasn't nothing like what some of us went through back in the day with PSN on PS3. That jump was crazy. But yeah, it is back up now. PlayStation had put out a tweet saying network services have fully recovered from an operational issue. We apologize for the inconvenience and thank the community for their patience. All PlayStation Plus members will automatically receive an additional 5 days of service. Oh, how nice of you, Sony. 5 days? Appreciate you guys. Some of the comments was, wow, 5 whole days. What is 5 days of service? What does 5 days of service actually mean? Give fans 1 free game of their choice. That might be a little crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would consider moving to PC if I had the funds. Thanks to Trump, I can't. What? An additional 5 days of PlayStation Plus is simply unacceptable for this kind of outage. I think you need to do better and offer better compensation to all those who were affected. Now again, this was just a little over 24 hours, if that. These suckers is asking for stuff that we didn't even get after 30 days back in 2011. I think Sony gave us the option of getting either, Infamous 2? No, it was Infamous 1 or Fat Princess. I forgot exactly how that jump went. But even after a month, they ain't really give us that much. This was a little over 24 hours. Suckers is like, listen, y'all could get these five a days, but y'all ain't getting no game. So, I think it definitely was a little weird, only because like they didn't even really say like what was going on. They were like very secretive of why PSN was even down. Did they even know why it was down? Again, literally since PSN went down in 2011, I have never saved my credit card information, my debit card information on PSN, because I just don't like trust their servers anymore. Like since 2011, I do not trust their servers, and it's clear still today why I don't really like to save that type of information on PlayStation servers. Because even when something like this does happen, they don't really say all that much. They throw you a little, old ass game here or an old game here, or give you an additional five a days, and then they move on like nothing happened. while still raising the price of PSN, and we are paying for this service now. And it's like, why are we paying for this junk? But PSN is back up now. Hooray! Yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo, 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 woo. The main thing that I really wanted to talk about in this video is when I saw this, I actually had to like contain myself because y'all know how I feel about the state of shooters today. More importantly than that, the state of exclusive shooters on PlayStation. There are none. These suckers actually turned down a possible Resistance 4. So Ted Price, who had recently retired from Insomniac Games, you know how they have Insomniac today making nothing but Marvel products. They literally have them slaving over just making a Marvel game here, a Marvel game there, a Marvel game here, a Marvel game there, for literally the next, what, 10 freaking plus years after they're done with Wolverine. I don't know if they're going to move on to that X-Men game they're going to do another Spider-Man game, of course. We know of that. That's what they got them doing now. But Insomniac is one of the most creative, fun devs that they have, but they have them strictly just doing Marvel stuff right now because those games do sell a lot of money. Let's be honest. But Ted Price, who had recently retired from Insomniac Games not too long ago, says that Resistance 4 was pitched to Sony, but they ultimately turned it down. This comes from an interview with Kind of Funny Games, as Price was asked about a favorite game of his that was pitched but never greenlit by Sony. And Price said, yeah, I'll share one. Resistance 4.
What do you get? I don't think so. When you cry,
we did pitch that one, and it was a wonderful concept, and it just, in terms of timing and market opportunity, didn't work out. But it was the result of a lot of Insomniac team members being passionate about extending the story, because I do believe that Resistance has set up a really cool alternate history base where anything can happen with the Chimera and where they go and what their origins are. Price said that they spent a lot of time working on a backstory and brainstorming on where the series could go in the future. And it was turned down by Sony. Now, here's the thing. The black side of me is wanting to freaking literally stand up and freaking, what the hell is wrong with you damn suckers? Are you crazy? You turned down Resistance 4, you bitch ass. That's the black side of me that wants to like just go in on Sony. However, let's look back in history. Resistance 3, to my knowledge, if I look this junk up right now, Resistance 3, I do remember the game didn't sell all that well. Like, the game really did struggle in sales. I don't know the exact number. Yeah, it says here in its release month, Resistance 3 was only able to sell around 180,000 copies. You know, and like after that, it wasn't like the game was not selling like crazy. It wasn't. And I do remember that. So I'm like, yo, like people really ain't like rocking with Resistance 3 like this junk crazy. But a lot of one thing that people do forget is the other games you had that dropped in 2011. And on top of that, the marketing for Resistance 3 was not even that good to begin with. Sony was not like hardcore marketing that game like that. For whatever reason, I remember one of their biggest marketing schemes with Resistance 3 was you can play it with the freaking PlayStation Move. That's how they was marketing the game, because the PlayStation Move at like that time was like trying to like they was trying to really sell us on that freaking gimmick with not only just Resistance 3 but with Killzone 3 as well. And they really, I remember this junk, they really didn't really market Resistance 3 like that. And also because Resistance 3 came out in 2011, let's look at some of the other games that dropped in 2011. You had Elder Scrolls freaking Skyrim drop. You had Dead Space 2. You had Assassin's Creed Revelations. You had Infamous 2. You had Portal 2. You had Batman Arkham City. You had Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. You had LA Noire. You had The Witcher 2, Little Big Planet 2, Battlefield 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Gears of War 3, Dark Souls. Like, I can go down the list of how many other games you had that dropped that year that was either way bigger than Resistance, had way better marketing than Resistance, or it was just like just seeing the sales numbers does not tell the whole story of why Resistance 3 really wasn't like that when it came out. Now, also you have to take into consideration is back in 2011, the standards of what was a successful game back then based off of how much it sold or how much money the game made was completely different. You look at the budget of games today and how these freaking devs and studios be literally pouring, I don't know if it's like a freaking scheme or something, but the questionable budgets you have for games today to where they're 200, 300, 400 plus $million sometimes into games that are not even good. Look at Concord, how much money they put into that game. The game didn't even last 2 weeks. Back then in 2011, if a game made what, $5 million, it was looked at as, whoo, okay, we got something here. Okay, we can continue this. The standards of just what was a successful game back then versus today were just completely different. Now, yes, Resistance 3 did still sell bad. I don't know the complete, I wish I could see like how much total copies it sold. Let me see. According to VG charts, as of 2019, Resistance 3 had sold 1,790,800 units. So not even 2 million, or very close to 2 million, whatever. I wonder how much Resistance 2 sold. Resistance 2, according to VG charts, sold 2.83 million, a little under 3 million copies. So yes, Resistance, if you look back in its history, it never sold like this crazy amount of copies. It didn't. But again, I don't think people like remember in those early 2010s, going from like the early, like from 08 to like 2015, 16, 17 maybe, the competition that you had for shooters was freaking insane. Resistance had to try to battle Prime Battlefield, Prime Call of Duty, Prime Halo, Prime Gears of War, Killzone. Like, there were just so many other shooters out there not named Resistance, where Resistance never truly, I felt like, even really got the love and appreciation that it deserved, but only because it was overshadowed by just better shooters. Like, there was nothing wrong with Resistance. I remember playing Resistance. Remember when PS3 came out in 2006? For a while, the only game that was worth buying a PS3 for was the first Resistance Fall of Man. It was like that for what, 2+ years? So it was like, yo, why should I get a PS3 right now? Well, there's just one game called Resistance, so you might want to play that. But then once Sony actually started getting, you know, better games, and then Uncharted, it came on the scene, and then Uncharted, it took off with 2 and stuff like that, and then the other shooters started to come out. When Resistance 2 came out, and even like Resistance 2, I felt like didn't really get the love and appreciation that it deserved. So it wasn't just Resistance 3. This was just a Resistance series. But again, the times back then was completely different. So it does not tell the whole story of why you see, well, Resistance didn't sell all that well. Yeah, that's true, but times was different, the competition was different, and Sony didn't even market the game like that. So I ain't trying to just hear, well, it ain't sold a lot of copies, so it makes sense why Sony didn't green light Resistance 4 to happen. I ain't trying to hear none of that junk. We live in a time today on PlayStation to where PlayStation literally needs exclusives. We all know that. I don't care if it's exclusive that didn't really like sell all that well. I don't care if it's a remake. I don't care if it's a remaster, whatever. We get in all these remasters and remakes for stuff that most times we ain't even really asked for, like that, excluding a few, you know, games out there. But yet the stuff that would really be fire if they bought back or just gave it a second chance in modern day era with the modern day tech and resources as far as the money goes that we have, especially an exclusive shooter, which Sony really needs some shooters right now. Why would you not bring back Resistance? Or just try to bring back Resistance. Do a remake, whatever, a freaking collection. Bring back Killzone. Suckers been asking for freaking SOCOM to come back since. Like, Sony has really been irking my nerves lately, bro. They truly have. And it's just like, I get that this junk is a business. I get it. But, and it's not just Sony that is guilty of this. We are now in a time in gaming where if these developers and these studios do not feel like the game is worth investing in, just as far as like getting a bunch of money back from, you know, whatever game they put out, they're not even entertaining doing it anymore. And I truly feel like that's why today gaming has lost a lot of its like fire, a lot of its passion, a lot of the fun has been taken out of the gaming because now it's money first. To where before these developers and these studios would take risk of, you know what, we ain't really sure about this quirky, weird ass game we doing, you know, we ain't really sure about, you know, us making a freaking NBA Street or a Def Jam Vendetta or a freaking this or a that. Like, it's kind of weird. It's kind of fun. It don't really got like too much going for it, but we think that gamers really might mess with this junk. Let's try it out and see what happens. And sometimes those games that back then they didn't even really think it would be all that much, it ended up being like, oh snap, suckers is actually rocking with this junk. Okay, let's do another one. And I don't really feel like you see that today. Developers now are not willing to take risks if they don't feel like they're going to see like huge profits. And I just listen, again, it's a business, I get it, but that kind of also comes with how much money that these suckers are putting into these games today. Yeah, if you're putting $200+ million into a game and expecting to make that junk back plus more, like, yeah, then you don't want to take no freaking risk because you just put all this money into a game that still is trash and has no freaking soul to it. And you expected to make that and more? You're kidding yourself. So I just feel like the whole way that these games are looked at today and what they even decide to go with and try to, you know, green light it to go forward with development, the whole way they do it today, I just don't agree with. I don't rock with it. I feel like that's why gaming has suffered in some sense, and it's just sad hearing about stuff like this, bro, because why they gonna do that to Resistance? Like, how you gonna do that to Resistance, man? A very creative, fun shooter that I truly, bro, a next generation Resistance with the skills that Insomniac has today, with the resources they have today, with the money that they could put into the game today on PS5 currently, I got a problem. I got a problem. So yeah, when I heard that, it definitely just, listen, I do feel, and I said this junk before, I'm not saying that I would not buy the next PlayStation console or nothing like that, but the way I used to be proud of being a PlayStation owner, those days ended like, what, in 2016 after E3? I really feel like E3 2016 was the last time I truly felt like a pony. Like, I was proud to ride that Sony cock. I was so proud. You couldn't tell me, like, I was proud. I was proud to be a pony, bro. These days, bro, like, again, the freaking whole console war thing is over. You know, suckers don't feel proud being an Xbox owner. Suckers don't feel proud being a PlayStation owner. Only people I still feel like that still have some sense of pride is freaking Nintendo stands. You know, and however the Switch 2 is when that comes out. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say anymore about guys, bro. We are truly in different times. And yeah, what are y'all thoughts about this news about, you know, just with the whole PSN going down and them not saying nothing, and then them putting it back up and like, well, y'all could hear take 5 days. Take 5 days extra of this service that we all know is not even worth paying for. But here, that and the whole Resistance 4 being turned down while they got Insomniac making all these other games that are just all Marvel and superhero based related stuff. What's y'all thoughts about all, man? Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. GTA 6. Save us.